it's an interesting journey that you must prepare yourself to take. Because you can very easily stay in the comfort zone. The newsroom is a really nice place to be. Sure. Anybody you call will pick your call until you start imagining that your peers with President Uhuru Kenyatta and DP William Ruto, because they will pick your call and you will have tea. But you're really not there yet. So it's a call to leadership that for me, in fact, the decision to leave the newsroom came out of recognizing that this structure that we have does not have room up there for growth. So it is very well to get a pay rise every year. Everybody would love to have a pay rise every year. But at some point, you begin to get curious and say, what else is out there? You know, when you are in a newsroom for over 2 decades, that is your life. And one thing I always tell journalists is that they do not appreciate enough what journalism does. Mm-hmm. Journalism gives you a perspective of the world that nobody else has. The accountant sitting here does not look at the world the way you do, Jeff. Because journalism really opens your mind in a way that you can fit into almost every type of situation that you find. I used to tell people that when I was a reporter, you would be in Mukuru in the morning trading mud with people and listening to their issues about illegal electricity connections underground. And by evening or by lunchtime, you have finished, you've come, you've filed your story. Lunchtime, you are in another place in a CEO's boardroom, and evening, you're taking cocktails at Serena. All in a day's work. And the person you met at the slum has to be relatable in how you talk to him. But by evening, when you're getting a seat next to a CEO at Serena, you must then be able to elevate your conversation and still be able to talk and relate to that person. So it makes you a really rounded person. And the most confounding thing for me was when you leave private sector, where you have a cushy job, you have a high salary, and it's all about you. And you go to a public sector and realize that a small decision that you make has so much more impact on the lives of so many people that you wonder and say, oh, wow, just because I made a decision that we should pay KEMSA their outstanding amounts that we owe, has released medicine that now all the clinics are stuffed. You know, so that you realize that in public sector, if you are in a decision-making position and you are interested in doing good, you can impact on the lives of so many people. Now, that is completely different from being in the C-suite of a bank. Because at the bank, you know, they will give you club membership at the country club where you and I go to and so on. But in the public sector, sometimes you have to take a drastic pay cut. And everybody's asking, why are you leaving a big salary to go and, earn something smaller? But you do actually get some level of satisfaction that is beyond explanation when you use that public office to do good for people. Yeah. So for me, it was almost like a natural progression, even leaving then the county government to seek leadership. I never really considered myself a politician, even when I was seeking the seat of MP. I wanted to provide the leadership that I saw was possibly not there, or that I could do better. Because again, with that journalism background, I am able to identify the issues that people are facing, and I'm able to tell people, look, you do not have to just rely on this CDF money that is being given to you. There is so much money out there. You know, there are agencies like Kera that have money for building roads that you must be able to go and engage so that they can bring it to you. There are agencies like Kenha, you know, people doing last mile connectivity are here, and this is how to get additional resources so that don't just count on this little. And I know where to get it. So you talk in such a manner that you think you're the Messiah. And people say, we have never had anybody talking like this. In fact, you're the person we've been waiting for. In fact, you're the first person to step in this village of ours. So you do a head count and you say there are about 600 people here. By the way they are nodding their heads, I think, I have 500 votes. And then the results come and you have 20 votes at that polling station. And you wonder, my God, what happened?
Yeah, and they said you were the best thing.
What happened? I thought,
bread.
I have laid the plans and exactly how I'm going to do it. And then you realize that, maybe... there are some other considerations that people make just beyond. For example, you see, in the South Rift Valley where I come from, the dominant party is UDA. And UDA slogan has to do with promoting hustle. And some people have taken that very literally and seriously. So that when you're contesting, somebody will say, but this guy is already driving a nice big 4x4. And this other person who is contesting against, has just being a teacher and maybe does not even have a car. Why don't we give this one so that they can also get to elevate themselves? And you wonder, was that the yardstick, the consideration? Did it have to do with the fact that if you seem to be well-to-do, therefore you are not really, a hustler, so to speak? Right. And you just realize this is a completely different ball game that you have gotten into. It's not the newsroom you're used to. It's not the sources that you deal with. But it then boils down to relatability. Being able to go down and relate to people in a manner that they feel that they own you. Otherwise, they might even consider you a stranger. Yeah. There are issues of identity that come in. I was born in Bomet, where I was contesting. I have spent more than 2/3 of my life in Nairobi. When I go to Bomet, they'll say, you Nairobi people. Yeah. But when I'm in Nairobi, you hear Nairobi people saying, there are people in Nairobi wakukuja. They were not born here. So where do you belong? Yeah. Is home where you were born? Is it where you live? Where are you? Yeah. But those are things that you really think about and say, okay, maybe next time I will be able to relate with these things better.
Great.